Hello, welcome to U.S. History B, Unit 2. This is some cool stuff, and it talks a lot about the Great Depression. And so I'm going to walk you through what you're going to learn about and how you need to tackle some projects and stuff. So here we go. Lesson 6 talks about prohibition, talks about the Jazz Age, which was very cool, by the way. I love jazz music, so there's that, and and kind of what was going on there, and then lesson 7 talks kind of about the lost generation and the 1920s and the things that were happening, and it's really interesting to see how everything was kind of building up to the 1930s, and we know what happened there. So in the 1930s, we had the Great Depression, and there are a lot of causes of the Great Depression. This is from a discussion board that I'm going to have you do for lesson 9, and this picture is very famous. It was taken by Dorothea Lange, and she is one of my favorite Depression era photographers. It's called Migrant Mother, and in the discussion post, I have you look at a bunch of photos that were taken before this one, and it kind of gives you sort of a story of what was happening for this woman. So interesting stuff. And this really has to do with the Dust Bowl and what was going on there. Lesson 10 talks about the Second New Deal and what we still have happening with the Second New Deal. We have Tennessee Valley Authority, which is still happening. And really, the interesting thing about the end of the Great Depression is that the New Deal didn't solve it. FDR tried really hard to solve it, and that is admirable, I think, but the New Deal really didn't solve it. And the way that it was solved was by starting World War II, and that kind of put everyone back at work because suddenly there was a war that needed to be worked on. In lesson 10, you'll learn hopefully a little bit about packing the courts and the FDR. The courts were saying that parts of the New Deal were against the Constitution. And so FDR said, well, maybe we need to have more justices in the Supreme Court. And kind of right after he said that, circumstances happened where a lot of the justices who were against him couldn't be in the Supreme Court anymore, because they died or had to retire and stuff like that. So, anyway, interesting stuff. So, for Unit 3, I need you to do a project about the Great Depression. And you're going to get most of this done during Unit 2. So you need to do a presentation. I would recommend doing Google Slides if I were you. And what I want to see is a presentation that tells me about the causes of the Great Depression, which might include the stock market crash, banks and businesses closing and failing, people losing jobs, money, homes, Hooverville, the Dust Bowl, what was going on in order to cause the Great Depression to happen. And then I want you to talk about during the Great Depression, which might be alphabet legislation, FDR's first 100 days, the first New Deal, the second New Deal, all the stuff that had to go with that. And then the effects of the Great Depression that are still happening today, the WPA, the TVA, and then really what happened with fascism and the beginning of World War II. So that is why I am not having it due until after lesson 11, because I want you to be able to get everything that began with World War II in there as well. Okay, here are some great resources. There's the Library of Congress, always a great source. Here's the Lilly. Here are some primary sources about the Depression as well. Here is your grading rubric. You need to have an introduction. You need to cover the causes. During the Great Depression, effects of the Great Depression. You need to have pictures throughout, a conclusion, works cited in MLA format. Please remember that you can do that with the plus right here that seems to be missing, but you can do that through Google Docs. So that's super cool. Anyway, if you have any questions, please let me know, and I'm excited to see your project. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.